Hello, welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. For the third day in a row, we are back. We are going to talk about Rotherham United. You know, we talked last night about the actual news. We'll get Danny and Sam's take on the news, and then we'll look ahead to one of the toughest games of the season. You're going away to the top of the league. It doesn't get much tougher than that. But we'll kind of see what happens. Mick's back. 3 days in a row. How's it going, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I've just been sorting through my divorce papers. The amount of time that I've not spent with my wife over the last 3 days, and to be fair, she's really happy about it. Which you would be, wouldn't you?
She gets peace and quiet, doesn't she? To be fair,
exactly.
Yeah. Sam's back. How's it going, Sam?
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate.
Excellent stuff. And Danny's back. How's it going, Danny?
I'm very hungover.
I laugh. Bear in mind, anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I have an excuse. It wasn't an awards night. I'm not just drinking away the pain of being a Rotherham fan. I did have reason to.
Did you drink away the pain of not winning, or did you drink away to celebrate winning?
Celebrating winning. We won the Judges' Choice Award for Best Pub in Doncaster.
Excellent. All awards for judges.
Well, there was the public vote, and then there was the actual judges. Yeah, we like them more. Awards, so we got that instead.
It's easier to bribe a judge than it is to bribe the whole of the public.
Yes,
very true.
We have
experience.
We have a little announcement that I will come to in about 5 minutes. But first of all, Sam, Danny, you guys weren't on the show last night. Sam, I'll start with you, mate. Inevitable, bearing in mind probably the result on Tuesday, but a whirlwind of a day nevertheless. A really, really whirlwind of a day. Sacking 4 hours later appointment. Just give us your kind of take over the last kind of 40 hours of being a Rotherham fan.
It's been madness. You saw it coming, but I took my car for its MOT when Marmshaw got sacked, and the garage is a big sponsor of Rotherham United. So there was all of a sudden, you see them all discussing who is it going to be, names going about left, right, and centre. So yeah, so obviously we had no inkling of who it was going to be at that point. When they announced it, I forgot about him, to be honest. It was really random. It's the most random appointment you could ever think of, really. But let's start. We can't judge him yet. We can't judge him yet this season. But yeah, it's not someone I would have gone for. But
no,
you never know. It's a fresh face. Anything could happen.
Absolutely. Danny, you were obviously the instant reaction on Tuesday, where we all predicted that it was probably time. Were you surprised kind of how quickly the turnaround was? Because, less than 12 hours after we finished speaking, I'm sure was officially gone.
Well, with how quick the announcement came out in the morning, I think he'd got sacked whilst we were doing the instant reaction, to be fair.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, Tony, if you're watching, hello, we may have instigated that. Sorry, Matt. Anyway, but no, it were a proper whirlwind day. I agree with Sam. The appointment came out of left field complete. I don't think anyone put a bet on it being Lee Clark to be our next manager. Because I spoke to Calendar News in the morning, like the reaction to Marmshaw getting sacked, and by the time it went out at 6 o'clock, we'd announced the new guy, and it was like, are they actually going to show it? Because it's all news now.
True.
But no, I'm in the same boat. I'm not going to judge him until after Saturday. Because he's had no time to work with the players and instill anything that he wants to work towards over the course of half a week. But I'm a little bit worried that the last time he managed in England, it was with Blythe Spartans. So it's a bit, okay, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah. Yes, well, let's run through a few comments. Martin Holland says, good evening, let's hope for a new manager around. Stephen Mick's with us. Jeremy says, let's see if Lee can make a difference. Talk's good talk, but proof is always in the pudding. Jerick says, hello, give it time to give it all a go. Steve Mick says, I'm absolutely exhausted. I got back from a gig Leeds last night, was watching the instant reaction on the train, then saw Hammy had gone. Before it even got there, Lee Clark was installed. That's the kind of turnaround it was. Usually says, good evening, one and all. He talks the talk, but words mean nothing. David Lawton's with us, as is Richard and Chris Page, Noel Jordan as well. Paul Road says, I reserve judgment until after Saturday. Not sure Barnes Wallace could give us enough new manager bounce to get a lift. Lincoln, I suspect that's before my time again.
Is that it's before my time, mate?
Is it? Oh, okay.
Do none of you know what that means?
I do, because I'm a history nerd. I do.
Yeah. Barnes Wallis, bouncing bomb.
Right, got you. Okay, fair enough.
Gambusters are also based in Lincolnshire.
Fair enough. Okay. Lee Clark out, or is it a bit soon? Matt Mill says Clark talks in glib cliches. He's in the job like Evans. It seems he's a mate of Stewart's. He was dull and offered very little. Interesting, Mick. I don't know. Look, it's his first interview. He's never going to give us everything we want. But I thought I agree with a few other comments. I thought he talked reasonably. He doesn't try to hide his accent, which I quite like as well. You get a lot of people from this area and other areas like that who kind of hide it. He is who he is, I think. What was your kind of initial take on what is generally quite a sanitised environment for the first interview?
Well, it is. And so as a result of that, you're going to get exactly what Mike said you got. And Mike's right. He talked in football cliches, 27 points, only thinking about Saturday, blah, 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 blah. I don't expect anything else. It's not a criticism of him necessarily. It's just that's all he's going to say. He's not going to come up with anything at all that's going to be groundbreaking or that we don't know or anything. I want fans on side. I've followed the club for however long. All this sort of stuff. I don't expect anything else. So it's not about what he says. It's about what he does, as with every manager. So we'll have to. All we can do is wait and see.
It is. It doesn't make very good content, though, does it?
Well, the content of this podcast is about the football that we play ultimately. But it's just there's been so much non-footballing stuff going off recently that that's sort of taken over. But let's wait and see what the performances are like. From
my perspective, and I think for me is a good thing. I don't have anything negative to say about his first interview. There was no red flags. He's confident. No, I'm not saying you were being negative. What I'm saying is, when Matt Amshaw first came, I think it was easy, but there was still a little bit of things I wasn't sure on. And Steve Evans was obviously the case. Liam Richardson in his first press conference didn't feel anybody with confidence. Maybe Matt Taylor was the last man that came in where he first came in. You're kind of thinking, okay, I understand, I get it, and I understand it. Lee Clark, I fell into that character for me. I liked what he said, even though there was no kind of substance behind it necessarily, because there can't be. I still liked about roughly what he said and his tone and his attitude. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. In that, what's your kind of take on it, Sam? He's been at the club in real terms 24 hours by the time he'd taken out, because in terms of contracts and whatever else.
Yeah.
What was your take on the first interview?
Yeah, we're all right. There were one thing he said, which I thought, don't say this. He said all he can guarantee is the players will give 100% and run through a brick wall.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The last person who said that is gone. So has he not seen the player? He's clearly not met him when he spoke, because you know what I mean. No, I'm only joking. That's harsh, but yeah, he did just say everything he needed to, and it is a bit bizarre. He said he's been in contact with Thomas Stewart since he applied for the job 12 years ago, which I think is very bizarre. Like, what did they talk about? How's he kept in touch? You know what I mean? It's really random, but at least he's just honest. He said he was been contacting him, and at least he's had the balls to take the job in the first place. Because I bet you the list was short who would take it. Yeah. So he's not scared, is he? I suppose
he's not scared to stick his hand up. Stick his hand up and say, it's a free hit from him. Yesterday, it's a free hit for him. But at the same time, he could have just carried on, as he said, just watching Newcastle games and supporting his mates and just watch his coaching. He could have just stayed on the sidelines, and he's big enough, man enough and grown up enough to come and have a bash in a relegation fight. We can do nothing but give him a chance. That's all we've got. Right, let's move on. There was another interview today with Paul Douglas. First disclaimer, haven't watched it because I couldn't find it, to be honest with you. It took me ages to find it. And I found it literally 10 to 8, that it's the longer one on Radio Sheffield that I haven't listened to. So I've listened to the Clark interview. not listened to Paul Douglas yet. I see the comments that people aren't happy with him. That leads me on to our next point. We have an announcement of guests for next week. Harry says, "Don't, Matt." Well, next week we are scheduled to talk to Phil Smith and Paul Douglas. That is scheduled in for early next week. It's been pushed back because I'm on holiday over the weekend, so we pushed it back a bit. But yeah, next week, me and Mick, is our plan to speak to Phil, certainly Phil Smith, and the plan is for Paul Douglas to be part of that as well. Look, they reached out to us. They reached out to talk to the fans, to have some fan engagement. I know a lot of people don't like what Paul Douglas says sometimes. I'm not going to comment on today because I haven't seen it yet, and I will watch that before we speak to him. But they're making the effort to go and talk to the fans directly. That for me, that is a good thing. Now, whether we all get the answers we want, we never will. You never will. But I think that section of it should be applauded, and we'll kind of see what comes of that. Mick, you and me are on duty for that one.
Yeah.
How did you think and feel when I rang you yesterday to tell you this was in the pipeline?
Pleased, surprised, but pleased. There's questions that need to be answered. Whether we'll get those answers is another matter. We'll have to wait and see. It's a difficult one for me because I see all these comments about particularly about Paul Douglas, and we get it time and time again about some worse than others. I'm not entirely sure what people expect from him. I genuinely aren't. He's not going to come on Radio Sheffield or on here when we speak to him and say, I don't like Tony Stewart, is this, is that, is the other. I don't, because he's employed by him. He toes the party line. That is literally his job. He's the mouthpiece for Tony Stewart and the board. So whether we're going to get anything out of him, I don't know. I would doubt it. And quite honestly, if I'm in his position, do I want to keep my job or do I want to get sacked and go out in a blaze of glory?
Blaze of glory is our fun.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? But all these people were calling him out and calling him this and calling him that and worse would not do anything different if they were told by their gaffer, this is what you are going to say. And I just don't get it. I don't know what people want. I genuinely don't. So, but what I would say is, if anybody's got any questions, fire away because we will ask them. This is not going to be a free ride for either of them because as supporters, and to be fair, I think they both know this, but the club knows it. Well, most of the club know this anyway. The engagement that the supporters have had from the upper echelons of the club over the last certainly 3 years, arguably longer, has been absolutely appalling. So this is at their instigation. Hopefully, this is part and parcel of a new strategy, a new broom. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we might get the same as the new manager's interview today. Cliches and not a lot of substance. We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah. What I will say, we want some fan questions. We want to keep it kind of natural and moving forward. So we're going to mostly kind of have a conversation. But if you have questions you want us to ask, it's very difficult for us to save your chat comments in here for future. We really appreciate it. I love everyone that comes back. It's very difficult to save them. So if you have a question you want, rufcpod@gmail.com. All our DMs are always open on Twitter. If anybody wants to send us a DM, that's always an option. If you want to, I can't promise we'll get through everything else. Two things I want to point out. The first time we spoke to Phil Smith and this one, when Phil Smith came on originally for the original one, it was agreed between us and Phil Smith that there wasn't much point talking about the substance of Rotherham United because he'd already done 2 interviews with the Advertiser and with Radio Sheffield. We couldn't have got more out of Phil Smith than he'd already given those guys. So that's why it was probably a lighter interview than anybody would have wanted. Brian Vernon, does Douglas have a magic trick? We'll find out.
Sending us to
questions. This is the important stuff.
But I spoke with briefly Phil Smith on the phone yesterday. My question was to Phil Smith, is there anything off the table? Is there anything you don't want us to ask you about? The answer was no. There is nothing we can't ask about. Now, whether if they're professional guys, they're not going to say, yeah, we did it because of X, Y, and Z, but there is no questions we're not allowed to ask, which again is really, really good. I think is a positive way to look at things. Scott, I can see Scott mention the question about Phil Smith and saying that we're going to finish in top 10. That's definitely going to come up. It's absolutely going to come up because he's got to, and he knows it. He's not an idiot, is he? Come on, he's not daft. He knows that's got to come up. Well, it'll be longer as well. Again, you're looking. We only did a quick 15-minute interview last time. We're looking at half an hour or earlier, or longer maybe potentially. Yeah, Paula was asking when the questions need, but as soon as possible. Again, I am away this weekend, so that does limit my mental capacity.
My mental is already with an inbox stuffed full of thousands of questions
and a serious hangover. Yeah. So the earlier the better. But I've got Tuesday to kind of sift through what we can do. The plan is that the minute speak Tuesday evening. So I'll have Tuesday to sift through a lot of things over there, through there. So Danny, I'll come to you on this one. What is you want to hear? What questions you want to? What questions you want to hear? Answers.
Well, the best thing is they didn't ask for me to be on this interview, so I'm going to give them a piece of my. No, I'm kidding. I suppose it's not necessarily questions that come to my head straight away, because I've got until Tuesday to think of some actual good questions. I think for me, it's more of a direction that I want to see. This isn't like from you or Mick or anything, but the direction I want to see is that they don't talk to you like you're stupid, if that makes sense. Because in previous interviews from Paul Douglas, it's come across that he knows everything. I'm going to tell you I know everything. And if you don't understand it, that's a you problem. And as well, they are more used to dealing with the professionals in the business, like Radio Sheffield, the advertiser, the media team at the club. They are all professionals in the communication field, shall we say. We aren't. We're amateurs at this. We do it just because we enjoy it. And I don't want that to be an excuse for anyone to look at you like you're stupid and you don't understand what's happening. We do, because it's our football club and we care. I just want it to feel like it's transparent and it's good, and from them it's not just we're just appeasing the fans by talking to them. No, engage with us. And you and Mick will do that by asking the questions, the serious questions that we want answers to. But I don't want it to bat it off like, you don't understand the financial side of football. Well, help us understand it then. Help us understand how our football club works, because we'll be supporting this football club a lot longer than they're employed by it. So that's the vibe I want from it. I want it to be a proper fan engagement session rather than them just telling us how things are. Because when you do that, that's when people start turning against you more than they already have. Don't talk to us like we're stupid. Talk to us like we're human beings who care about the entity that you are employed to make run efficiently. And that's my 2p on it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Sam, what an idea? What would be something you'd like to take from it?
If Phil Smith said you could ask him anything, the first thing I'm asking him is what is his account number and what's his first name.
Why didn't I think of that?
Well, you see, Danny, what can I say? He said he'd answer anything, so that would be the first thing I'd ask him. Now, I'd be asking him when he made the comment of, I'll come on again when we're top half, and thinking, what did he see for the first half of the season to suggest that? And the other thing that's really bugged me, and Paul Douglas mentioned this in the presser today about the budget, saying Matt Hamshaw and Steve Evans had a lot higher budget than Paul Warne ever did.
Said Matt Hamshaw had a higher budget?
Yeah, than Paul Warne ever did. However, there is a thing called inflation, right? Yeah. And a lot of years have passed between the two. So it's really irrelevant. But the thing about you made in the original one was saying that Matt Hamshaw has to go to Tony Stewart. There's not an allocated budget. He has to go with each player, which I think seems a bit like a power trip in terms of from Tony Stewart, which I don't get the concept. because he knows a manager's going to be hesitant sometimes to come to it. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit of a power play, isn't it? Which I'd like to know more about the logistics around what happens with transfers and stuff like that, how it works, because it just doesn't seem right that.
No, it doesn't. No, I agree. I'm also interested on certainly on a group chat with a few other people that something I'd like to know is Matt Hamshaw and Paul Davis and the Advertiser have talked to us about the circumstances that have been really difficult for Matt Hamshaw this season. What are they? Nobody's ever told us what these difficult circumstances are. Paul Davis has intimated the wage budget's been significantly slashed. Okay, that's one issue. We all know the injury issue, but that's part of football. What are these issues? What's going off behind the scene that has made it so difficult for Matt Hamshaw to do his job? Because
I think it might be anything to do with not having a first team physio and therefore
injuries and scouts.
But he's never said that though, has he? No. Do you know if it's a problem? Matt Hamshaw's not said, but we're struggling because we've not quite got the finances for this, that, and the other. And neither has Paul Davis and the Advertiser and Radio Sheffield. They've just all intimated that there's problems.
Yeah, but
no, I understand they can't to an extent because they're not at the club. I'm not. That's not a dig at any of those people. I'm not saying Paul Davis is crap and blocking and calling this that other. But so I understand why we can't get information. But we're being told one thing and not explain the reasons behind it. And I'd like to know what those problems are. Is it just budgetary? Is there something else going on behind the scenes? What's the problem? What has been the problem that Matt Hamshaw's hands tied behind it? It can't just be budgetary, can it?
Listen, the problems surrounding Rotherham United and probably maybe 85 to 90 of the other 92 Football League clubs are budgetary. It's finance. It's all about finance. You know, we can't afford a proper training ground. We can't afford a first team physio. We can't afford better wages. We can't afford this. We can't afford that. It's all about the money. It's all about the money, ultimately.
But then the question is why? Why is that?
Because that's football. So
no.
One way out, haven't you? You've only got one way out of that.
Not why is that football? Why is that money not there to have a physio? Why is that money not there to have a capable scouting team?
It's the only
was there last year.
It's going to come from is Tony Stewart's back pocket.
But it was there. You can't. Why is that suddenly disappeared? That's the question. Why is it now suddenly a problem when it wasn't a problem 12 months ago?
I'm guessing we can ask these questions. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Tune in next week
coming out of his pocket, and now it's not.
Yeah, but we're not being told that, have we?
No.
So that's
no.
We'll see. Me and Nick are
interesting.
God.
Just to bounce off what I said earlier, I've just had a scroll through the comments that are coming in. A lot of engagement in the comments, by the way. Wow. No political answers, please. If they start answering politically, call them out for it. We have enough of that. We have enough of that on the telly from the actual politicians. We don't need it from people higher up in the club as well. Just give us a straight answer. I know in certain things they can't, but give us a straight enough answer where you're not bouncing around answering the actual question.
The bottom line is the questions can be answered. And it can be quite simply, we can't afford it.
Yeah, if that's the answer. That's the answer.
You know, and I think people will be a lot more. Some people would be a lot more forgiving if that was the answer. Look, we don't have the money. The money is not there to do it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think I kind of nailed it earlier. We're all grown-ups. Treat us like grown-ups, and it feels like that's what this is. Well, but that's what this for me. This is what this feels like. It is. This is the start of treating fans like grown-ups. Going and actually having a conversation with fans is a pretty grown-up thing to do from a football club. And which other football club? And I don't know the answer to this. Which other football club sends their directors to go and have a chat with some random podcast
without the podcast asking first? Just
taking the initiative and going and talking to them. That's a really good thing for me. It's a really good thing because we watch the football club week in, week out. We've been there a week in, week out. Some of the comments last week saying State asked some good questions. State at times does ask some really good questions, but he's really stuck on this idea of us sacking managers too often. And that's he's got a bit of a narrative around that, which I don't necessarily agree with. But yeah, let's things on the bottom, words are on the bottom. Email your questions to rufcpod@gmail.com or send us a DM, and let's see what happens. There's no attached to it next week, so probably, the idea would be probably put it in the Thursday slot for next week. But we'll see. Again, we'll see what happens, how long it takes, if there's any editing that's needed, and everything else. Yeah. Moving on somehow. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to move on. Football is happening on Saturday afternoon. 6 points adrift to safety, Danny. Let's talk about reality of Rotherham United. 6 points adrift to safety, essentially 7 points adrift to safety because of the goal difference. You're going away to the top of the league, who are unbeaten in 21 games. It literally doesn't get harder than that. That's the most difficult game there is in League One right now.
I mean, I thought it was 15, but if it's 21, Jesus.
Apparently it's 21, yeah.
Jesus. Well, we've picked a perfect moment to change managers because if he loses to Lincoln, it's, you can say, well, top at League 3 crack on again. But if he's going for 27 points, we should be competing with Lincoln to try and get every ball, goal, tackle, whatever that we can. But for me, it's more going to be an interesting watch to see how the players respond to Lee Clark coming in. If we see a sudden revival from the team, all right, yeah, you can say it's new manager bounce. But if we start seeing it from players who we never saw it from under Matt Hamshaw, then that's a bit of a interesting. He might be able to get something out of this team, or he just gave up trying for Matt Hamshaw. Make your own conclusions when we see it. But I think we could kind of try and sell Lincoln a false dawn that, you know, we're not going to know what we're doing. We're still adapting to a new manager. So they might approach it as a bit of a, we'll beat these, be right. And we surprise them. And I think we not necessarily have to focus on that, but I think we could use it to our advantage as well. You know, if we play a different system, different setup, players in correct positions and not where they're going to be hung out to dry, playing a right back as a wing back that can't keep up with 20-year-old wingers, then we could surprise Lincoln. So I don't think it's a case where we're going to get battered like we did at Peterborough. I don't think Lincoln are going to put 7 past us. But I think we have the initiative now to give them a good game. And for me, we'll just see what happens. If we give them a good game and they win 1-0, you know, fair enough. Better luck next time. But if we use it correctly, we could get a draw or, you know, heaven forbid, a win out of it as well. But again, wait and see. The run has to end at some point for them. That's all I'll say.
It does. They've lost once in the league since we beat them 3-0.
Well, there you go.
Crazy.
Our time again.
Just crazy. they are terrible. They were on the day they were a terrible team. They're obviously a fantastic team, but on the day they were really poor. I spoke with Josh, Josh Tonga does some Lincoln stuff, and he kind of said that they were terrible on the day. They're not hiding from it. Terry, just to back on that, Terry says, bit thick, what's the DM? Direct message. So if you're followers on Twitter or Facebook, the option to send us a message, we can take the information there. I'm sure we'll get some. We'll do what we can. Yeah, they're not just drawing either. They are winning loads. 15 out of 18 games that they've won. They're a proper team. This is a proper team that are 15 points clear of third or something like that. They're going up. They are just going up. But Sam, on Rotherham United, the good thing about Lee Clark is there's questions marks about everything else about him. But Lee Clark has character. He is a personality. He's got that Steve Evans about him. He's probably softer than Steve Evans, I think. He's probably a bit more football savvy, coaching savvy than Steve Evans is. But he does have that side about him where I could see him revving people up and getting into the ribs a little bit. That is part of the appointment that I can understand a little bit.
Everyone's softer than Steve Evans, though, aren't they? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because I did the instant reaction when we beat them 3-0, and I don't think we were expecting it at the time, were we? No. It's just a change, and the good thing is Lincoln won't know what to expect. If Matt Hamshaw was still here, they would have set up for 5 at the back, but they don't know now. And they probably don't know what players are available because I don't think neither do we half the time. He's very limited with who he's got. I think that's the biggest issue. But then again, at least you don't have to upset anybody because he can't drop anybody because they're all going to be in squad who's fit. Yeah, just have to wait and see. I think with Lincoln, they're a bit like what we used to be like in terms of they were like footballing teams. Like we'll try pass it around back and stuff, they'll just capitalise on him. Whereas maybe that's why we beat them last time, because we definitely weren't a footballing team when we played them last time. We howled them probably in comparison. So maybe that's what it is. But like every team's got like a bit of a bogey team, and maybe that's just our style of play. Like Wickham with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah. Just a correction. Harry's 15 wins in 18 was us against Lincoln. Our record against Lincoln. Lincoln's record in the last 19 games is that they've won 14 out of the 19 games. They've drawn the other 4 of those. Again, this is a proper team. I'll be honest, we're not here the Lincoln podcast, but I'm really chuffed it's happening to a club like Lincoln City. I'm really, really happy. There'll be a lot of people in League, outside fans in League One and Championship going, "Oh God, that's a crap league, Lincoln top. How crap is that league?" They're a well-run football club with a really, really good coach. That's brilliant. That is exactly how football should be. Luton have been mismanaged for the last 18 months or so, struggling. Other clubs down there struggling. Bigger clubs than Lincoln struggling. To see a team like that managed properly, dealt with properly, with everything else proper about them to go and play on the Championship next year, it's fantastic. I'm really, really chuffed for them. Having said that, I hope they get battered on Saturday. But, a little bit of football symmetry for you. Now, you have got to squint a little bit to this one, but when we got promoted in 2021, there was a team that got relegated that did the double over us, which was Fleetwood Town. They beat us 4-2 at New York Stadium. We won the best away performance at New York Stadium in a long time. And then they also beat us 1-0 at their place. The referee on that day is the same, on the 4-2 loss, was the same referee we've got on Saturday. So maybe we can see another rubbish team in League One go on to beat the champions-elect on Saturday. You've got to squint for that one. I'm not going to lie. But there is something there, I think. What's your take on it, mate? New manager bounces are quite often a myth, to be honest with you. It's not really a thing generally, a new manager bounce. Do you give Lee Clark a chance of a new manager bounce?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I do. We beat them once, so, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I don't know what's going to happen. It depends how. If he continues to play the same way that we've played, because he's only had 3 days with them, then we'll get beat, I think. But I don't know. It's possible, isn't it? Everything's possible in football. But I'm sorry, I've got no to. I don't know why you couldn't. I don't even know why you're asking me. I ain't got a clue, mate. Not a clue. I'm reading comments, and I thought Jamie were having some sort of breakdown. What's this baby in town thing? What's going off here?
I don't know.
I thought we were having a breakdown. I'm trying to work out whether he'd mistyped something. That didn't make any sense. I don't know. It's all going on. Sorry,
Someone said a stiff.
I'm talking about again. We did the instant reaction. We've not gone through anything about that yet. Yeah. I appreciate there's 1 or 2 bits and pieces gone off since then.
If anybody in the comments says Mick asked us to talk about the Peterborough game for one reason, and that's for the penalty, for the first penalty incident. Jesus Christ! I'm
not interested, mate. I just wondered. I thought we were going to review it. We lost. We got hammered.
We will talk. Well, yeah, we're right. We did say we were going to talk about it a bit. We didn't, and that's right. Let's have this out, Mick. The first penalty with Lenny Aguirre with Lenny Aguirre side down. Lisby, I think it was. We're not going to spend all night on this, Mick, because everybody's going to disagree with you. But tell us why you don't think that should have been a penalty.
Because the Peterborough player initiated the contact. 100%. He knocked the ball past the stupid challenge. I'm not complaining that the referee gave a penalty, by the way. Not complaining at all. Because as far as ref's concerned, it looked like a blatant penalty. When you see it from the reverse angle, it's absolutely not. He knocks the ball past him, hooks his foot round the stupid challenge from Lenny, and throws himself on floor. It's not a penalty. By the letter of the law, he's initiated the contact there. That's all I'm saying. The referee obviously had to give it. He had no choice, given he's only got one view of it. But anyway, there you go. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Sound. Yeah. should we come back to the giant baby issue?
Yeah.
I didn't think. Mike's asked, "What's this podcast about?" There are bigger issues than those lads. Come on. Apparently, one of the bigger issues, Mike, is a giant baby in the middle of Rotherham. Rotherham's Rotherham's the children town of culture or something like that. So I've got a giant baby in All Saints Square for you.
Jesus Christ!
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't think somebody's thought that through.
I mean, before we get to the giant baby in town, does no one see the irony that Rotherham is the children's capital of culture?
Oh, it's even worse in the daylight. Oh my God, that's like something from Squid Game. I'm sure the idea was good, but my gosh.
What on earth is that?
James, sorry for causing this confusion. It just scared the crap out of me.
I'm not surprised.
Can you imagine walking through town and not knowing?
Imagine if you smashed a walking past. That'd throw you right off.
If you are going out in Rotherham this weekend, getting drunk, it's a real baby. Don't worry. Don't panic that the world's been taken over by giant dolls.
Maybe it's a deterrent for like certain people in the town centre.
It's a deterrent.
Drive me out.
It was, yeah.
Who on earth thought that was a good idea? I have never seen anything like that in my life.
That's mad. That's crazy.
Oh my word!
I think we've done it to deter any away fans that want to turn up to Rotherham. It's like, yeah, just don't turn up. There's a giant baby in town. Yep, no, anyway.
We can't intimidate them with noise, so we'll use something else.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked.
Yeah.
How much did that cost?
I don't know.
Wow.
Now, you see, if the football club's involved with that, that's why we can't afford a physio.
Oh my God.
That's where the money's gone.
Danny's got it. Danny's nailed it. Moving on, because I don't know where to go from that.
No, there's nowhere left. See ya.
Back to the football. Back to Rotherham United. Sam, you went on the instant reaction. Just to kind of talk me through your thoughts and feelings towards the night and the evening. It was a Crawley-esque night, when it was a dark night.
It was awful. It got to half time. I said to my dad, he goes, "This is ridiculous. It's going to be 4 or 5-0. I went, no, we could pull this back here, right? Like an absolute idiot I am. And then when they brought Holmes and Biancheri on, it looked quite a bit more positive for about 10 minutes. And then Rafty decided to go, I don't even know where he went. It wasn't even the camera shot.
Yeah.
Wherever he was. And left Lenny high and dry.
Rafa was still back at net. He was literally back on the net. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder why he weren't even in camera shot. I'm thinking, he's not there. I get running up, but not into net. It was just bad. And I think when he got to the point when Baptiste made that tackle, I thought, these are just going to get Hammy. These are trying to get Hammy sat now. Because there was no need. I think Lenny was covering, or someone else was covering in the middle. And he just went straight after him.
Oh, Baptiste one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I
Baptiste
think
one worse than Lenny. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Not a pretty post-match interview from Matt, I'm sure, but it was.
He looked broken.
I think he did look broken. He knew his time was up. Obviously, put the letter up yesterday. Kind of his leaving letter, which is nice that the kind of club let him do that. To put that out, because he whether you like him or not, he certainly meant well. He certainly tried his best for the football club, and it's a shame it hasn't worked out. But it hasn't worked out, and we have to kind of move forward. Going from here, we don't know who's fit and available, Danny, because it wasn't kind of a normal pre-match presser. It was a manager unveiling, so we don't know who's fit and available. But it's got to be a case of back to basics. Let's just get back to basics. Try and put as many square pegs in the square hole as you possibly can, and kind of build around that. That's the only way forward for this football club. Try and be positive, but square pegs, square holes.
No, I agree. I think it's a case of building from the ground up this time. Don't try and change anything too quickly. Work with what you've got. and do the basics well. Just don't try anything fancy. I think if Lee Clark has a set formation that he likes, fair enough. But we'll see that when he's had a full week of training with the team. I think he's set up for what we've got, which ironically is 4-4-2. And just go from there. Nothing fancy. Basic football. To quote John Breckin, look after the ball and it looks after you. And you'll see what we can do. Yeah.
The problem area is midfield. I think ideally we'd be playing something like a 4-3-3. The defence picks itself roughly. The attack picks itself. You've got Sam Nombe, hopefully Harry Gray, but if not Harry Gray, Ben Carey, and then Duncan Watmore as your front three. Your midfield then becomes a bit of a problem. You're going to have to play Martha somewhere in the middle as well. After that, it's looking really, really thin on the ground. Is Cover even fit, for example? We don't even know. It's the midfield areas is the problem in it.
Yeah, it's a huge problem, and we don't know what's happening with Danko. I don't anyway. Whether he's fit. McWilliams weren't even in the squad the other day.
No.
So yeah, midfield's a massive issue, huge issue. I don't even know whether we've got any fit midfielders. Sousa's groin.
Don't know.
So, but if you're playing a back four, then it allows you to put Cover into midfield. So that's two. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what he's got available. If there's anybody back from injury or back from illness.
Well, was Kelly ill? I can't remember.
By Paul Davis's article, it sounds like they're still ill. He said the only person that potentially could come back is like a doubt is Dan Gore. So McWilliams, Spence, everyone else, Powell, they're all injured. That's how I read it.
Benson's still all right.
Oh, Benson, but he'll give way at the end of the match.
Oh yeah, yeah. Liam Kelly was ill, but obviously like Reece James was ill. Reece James can play midfield if you can get Reece James fit. Again, really, really not ideal. That isn't a square peg in a square hole. But it's kind of make do amend. But then Lino Sousa was injured, weren't he? So if Reece James is back, you're probably gonna. But then Jules can play left back. Yeah. Again, if needs be, you can put Baptiste. And like that, again, not ideal putting two young kids together. But this week particularly, Sam, is a make do amend because next week. 2 weeks' time, Denzel Hall, there's a good chance that he's going to be back. Hamish Douglas, there's a chance he's going to be back. If Dango's not back Saturday, he should be back in 2 weeks' time. We don't know how badly injured Joe Powell is. It's getting this out of the way, but also trying to win as well.
That's it. But then, the way things go, they seem to get more injuries when they're not playing than when they do play. If you look at how many injuries we've had in training, he's so limited. Sousa got injured as well, didn't he, against Peterborough?
Yeah. He did.
Reece James could have played. He's been playing with broken ribs. What sickness?
I know.
All excuse. Yeah. Look at John Hugo at the start of the season when he was on death's door. Put a right shift in. When's he due back? Is he going to be back?
Honestly, don't know. If he is, it might be the last couple.
The insinuation with Hugo was he might get the last 2 games in the season. If not, season's done.
I said that about JJ all season.
I forgot about JJ. Poor JJ. David Pearce asks, do you think Baptiste could do a job midfield similar to Callum for his last year? I think possibly. It's certainly got the technical ability to do that. But it's not necessarily all about. Ironically, now you mentioned that, David, Cam Humphrey's first game in midfield was away at Lincoln.
Yeah.
When he almost scored what would have been the goal of the season. Their keeper's pulled off an absolute worldie of a save from Cam Humphrey. So I think we've mentioned that before on the show. I think that's a reasonable shout that Baptiste could do that. Noel Jordan says Duncan in the squad. Yeah, Harrison Duncan was in the squad. He also can play midfield. Apparently, he played as sit midfielder for.
Nobody seems to want to play him though. Evans didn't. Hamshaw didn't. I don't get it. I don't understand. We saw him very briefly. We saw him very briefly.
Josh Ayres has been recalled as well,
didn't we?
Yeah. Josh Ayres has been called. I saw somebody shared me about 5 goals in 9 games or something like that for Josh Ayres for something Alfton or something like that. But that's still a pretty good goal return. We saw what he did in the Papa John's Trophy, whatever it's called nowadays, with that great finish. Look, we're in a situation where we need all hands on deck at the minute, so we'll see what happens. Harvey Kellogg says Hall, Coletta, Douglas, Spence, Hugo back early April is what Paul Davis put in the article. So again, but you've got to stay in touch. This is why it complicates things, Danny. In an ideal world, you go into Saturday, don't lose or try not to get beat up too badly, try and keep a bit of confidence in the squad, and we attack the last 8 games of the season. If we lose on Saturday, you're likely to be at least 7 points adrift. That could jump to 8. I don't think it'll jump to 9, but it could jump to 8. And then you're 8 points adrift with 8 games left to go. And that's, well, almost insurmountable.
Yeah, I agree. I think we just need to manage this game properly. Because like you say, if we get hammered on Saturday, then it will be, confidence is gone. We're going down end of the line sort of thing. But like I said before, if we really get in Lincoln's face and give him a good game, even with the squad stretched as thin as it is, that'll still be a confidence boost, because then we'll have Lee Clark will have the week to work with them, and we can just try and build on it from there. And I mean, I don't think Lee Clark's stupid. He'll realise.
Oh, it was going so well.
It was. 2 or 3 podcasts and he's been all right, and all of a sudden he's just frozen.
It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
In terms of fixtures lists on Saturday, there are one early game that will impact us. Blackpool go to Cardiff City. So they'll obviously be thinking similar to us. Blackpool only a point off safety. That's your early kickoff. In terms of the other ones, Barnsley Donny, South Yorkshire Derby. There, Bradford go to Burton, so Burton host them. Northampton go to Mansfield, but Northampton are as much out of it as we are at the minute. And then Wigan host Exeter, which is a bit of a barn burner, that one at the bottom of the table. But a good time. That's a good game for us, really, isn't it? In fact, it's a perfect game for us. That's a perfect game for us because it can't really get much worse. It can maximum go to 7 points, can't it? That's
can't get worse.
Well, the most it can do. I'm going to mess around with screen. Hang on, bear with. The most that the results the point thing can go to is 7 points. If they draw, and if they draw, we lose. It goes to 7 points. If we lose and one of them win, it's still at 6 points. So worst case scenario Saturday, I suppose. If you look at it, worst case scenario is we are 7 points off safety, and that's if they draw. Don't know. We are clutching at straws, boys and girls. We are at that stage of the season. But who knows? Like I said before, football's a stupid sport where these things can happen. Let's move on to some score predictions, because we've talked about literally everything that can possibly talk about this week. Sam, you and Kev both went for a Rotherham victory at the weekend on Tuesday. I honestly don't know. Kev has just this second predicted, Sam.
Go on.
0-0. That's some fence sitting right there, isn't it?
Oh, do you want? I was thinking a draw as well. Who's leading? Out of me and him.
It's still the same. I think it's still level on points. I ain't update the table, but Tom is catching on your Airbie's heels because Tom got the Huddersfield prediction spot on. Tom won't be far off.
Oh, do you know what makes it hard with the points is how bad the league is, but then that's hindering us because anyone can beat anyone. Whereas in a normal season, teams down there are also losing all the time. So anyone's beating everyone. I'll go for a 1-1.
That's fence sitting at top of the league here at the minute.
Yeah. Have me.
Basically, if there's a goal, there's a more chance of Sam getting any points than Kev. So, Mick, you got a correct score ages ago. What do you reckon for
that last season, mate?
It was last season, yeah. Go on, what do you reckon?
I don't 2-0 Lincoln. I don't think we'll get out of it on Saturday.
I'm going for the dirtiest, the rottenest, the most disgusting 1-0 win you've ever seen from Rotherham United. 1-0 up in 2 minutes, inside 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and then
Stoke away.
Stoke away. Ted Can's going to have a Victor-esque performance or a Cam Dawson at Bolton-esque performance, and we're going to go from there. That's me being stupid and positive. Lincoln, Paul Rosso says 2-0 to Lincoln. Scott says 2-1 to Lincoln. Noel John says 1-1. Murray Mill says Rotherham Centre 0, Big Baby 1. Very good. Harry says 3-0 to Lincoln because we don't have a squad depth, which is right. Jamie says 2-1. Mark says 4-0 to Lincoln. Victor says 2-2. Sherman, Josh Ayres winner. That could be the dirty 1-0. I'm with that as well. Rob Dixon says 2-1. 1 win down, 8 to come. He says #believe. Matt Miller says 0-3 at least. Steve Mick says 1-0. Dave Lawrence says 3-0. Terry says 2-2. Adam Firth says 3-1 as well. Because it said 6-0 the Millers. We've done it before down there. The last time when we beat Lincoln 6-0, we lost the game before 5-0.
And had the manager sacked.
And the manager was sacked as well, yeah. The last time, when Matt Taylor was sacked after 5-0 hiding, we drew the next game against Leeds. When obviously Steve Evans got sacked, we won the next game. I don't think that was the case with Lee Richardson, though. I'll have to check that. But yeah, there's something there. I've got to bring up a comment which Wayne put on earlier, which I've got to explain. I'll just end on. You can all laugh at me. Wayne says, completely unrelated question for everybody. What's the most embarrassing thing you've done today? Anything bad that has almost ruined a weekend? So, I'm going on a stag do this weekend. Wayne's stag do. Wayne's getting married in August. Congratulations, Wayne. Best Mania was in charge of booking the flights. So I booked the flights for me and Wayne and a couple of the lads as well. Wayne's name is... But look, I spelled his surname wrong. The long and short of it is. And I found out the day before the flight that I spelled his name wrong. His name's silly. I thought his name was Wayne Hinchcliffe. And it's not. It's not a cliff, it's Wayne Hinchcliffe. So it's his own fault. 25 years.
That's bad.
That's best man as well. You know what I mean? It wasn't my finest moment. I'm not going to lie to any of you. Yeah, after I'd already sent in the boarding pass. We only found out because I sent Wayne the boarding pass. Thankfully, I sent it today and not tomorrow. But there was a very panicky half an hour where I was worried that the stag wasn't coming on the stag do, which wouldn't have been... Well, I'd have still had fun. But yeah. John Hinchcliffe says it as well. Look, do you know what I blame? That Hinchcliffe on Sky Sports. He's Hinchcliffe. He'll just play for Wednesday. What's his name? Andy Hinchcliffe?
You blame somebody else, mate. You just keep blaming somebody else. Don't take any responsibility.
I'm willing to take a portion of the blame. I'm willing to take about 60% of this blame because I
blame players.
You can blame. We should blame Amshaw.
Amshaw, yeah.
Yeah.
Rob Stassen.
Yeah, they're all at fault. Not Matthew at all. Danny is probably going to be back for you. Mike Miller, when the Titanic sinks, let's talk what's on the streets, really. That's all we've got, Mike. That's all we've got. Danny, can you hear me?
No. I'm sure Mike could be interested in us talking about the chocolate as well. If you want, Mike, we can do that. We can go down chocolate route, biscuit route, whatever you want, mate.
Yeah.
Big baby routes scarred me for life. I'm not going to lie.
No. The comments a bit about the baby throw me right off tonight.
Yeah. Well, having seen the picture of it, I'm scarred. I'm traumatized.
Me
anyway.
too.
So I think the baby came from our laptop. That's why it suddenly died on me.
Danny, you are the only one we don't have a prediction for. Even Ben's predicted.
Wow.
Ben's won 2-1 to Lincoln. Just you, Danny, for the time being, please.
Sod it. 1-0 to us.
You're copycat. That's fine. I accept that prediction. Paul is saying that the Port Vale game has been rearranged for the 7th of April. I don't have a fixture list up in front of me, so I'm not sure how that impacts it. But we've got Stevenage on Good Friday, which would be the 2nd, 3rd. Anyway,
yeah, well, yeah.
So that's interesting. If that's done for the 7th, that means the Port Vale game's only moved back a day. What would have been Easter Monday would then be Tuesday after Easter Monday. That's interesting. That's not the end of the world, to be honest with you. You want that Port Vale game pretty early on, don't you? You want to try and get some. You want to play the bottom of the league and get something from that. Let's wait and see. Not done. Anything else you guys want to mention before, outside of other stuff that I'm going to mention in a second?
Don't think so.
Can I mention that it wasn't a Wi-Fi issue this time? It was actually my laptop and not the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi was fine. It was the laptop that was the issue this time.
Is that better?
Well, it's different. We'll say that.
It's different.
Laptop or the operator?
Yeah, it could be the operator. User error.
Yeah. Yeah, could be.
Make sure you subscribe.
Sorry.
Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. So, scheduling over the next few days. At the minute, there is no planned instant reaction because I'm not here. And I will be in no fit state at 5 o'clock on Saturday to talk to anybody in any sort of coherent language. That doesn't mean to say it won't happen, but at the minute, there is no instant reaction planned. There is a show on Sunday. That will be, you're in the safe hands of Tom Eyre. He's going to host you on Sunday. So Tom, Mick, Andrew, and maybe Scott. I can't remember. I've got else to come on, but you have a full roster of people to talk you through what will hopefully be a positive Saturday afternoon at Lincoln City. And as a reminder, the things going across the bottom of the screen, rufcpod@gmail.com, if you want to send us a question. I can't promise we'll get to all the questions because we if I was you and in your situation, I'd be sending questions in as well. We will go through what we can. I suspect there'll be some crossover from a lot of questions in what you want to do. So let's see. Let us know what you want to ask. Not necessarily the question, but if you've got like a topic you want us to cover, we'll do what we can. We will still try and have a laugh as well. You know, football's not, it's not the end of the world. We'll try and have a laugh as well, as we've tried to do tonight with giant babies invading the town square on there. But yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about on that. If I had to guess, that'll be out Thursday, but I don't know. That could, we might be able to put it out Wednesday. It depends on a few things. Yeah, first on the list, what's Paul and Phil's thoughts on the giant baby? That's the question in everybody's minds at the minute. I'm surprised that didn't get asked to Lee Clark this afternoon, if we're all honest with us.
And what's his favourite pie?
And what's his favourite pie? We don't know what Lee Clark's favourite pie is. As a Geordie, I assume they like pies as well. I don't know. It's a northern thing, isn't it? So I assume it does. Maybe we'll find out.
Question for the baby: can we have a Miller's shirt made for it?
I'm not sure I'd want it to have a Miller's shirt made.
Someone's called
on the flip side, can we have a Wednesday shirt made for it? Or would that make it worse?
I don't know. We'll think about this. You can talk about this on Sunday when I'm not here. Make sure you've subscribed if you haven't done so already. I said 3 episodes in 3 days, so I am very tired and I am going to get drunk this weekend and enjoy it. I hope you all have a lovely weekend. By the way, finish on this. Sold out away to Lincoln. Only 600-700 tickets, but that is a brilliant effort by everybody that's going on Saturday. There's this idea that Rotherham fans, and it comes from certain media, it comes a little bit from Rob Staten, that Rotherham fans are impatient and they don't follow. And there's digs at football clubs at Rotherham United sometimes about their fans. Fantastic support. That is brilliant that we're taking that mate to Lincoln on Saturday, having been beaten 5-0. Couldn't be more proud that my football club's doing that. They're taking that many fans on what will probably be a defeat. So well done to everybody that's going on Saturday. Sing loud, get behind the players because they absolutely need you on Saturday, and they'll need us against Stevenage. They'll need us again after that as well. So please make sure you make as much noise as you possibly can at Lincoln. I hope we win. I really, really hope we win. Harvey in the comments says he'll be there. I'm sure there's 600 as well. Well done. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Danny. Thank you all for watching. We will see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel, vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United! Wood's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again! It's done! It's Georgie Kelly!
Do me a favour, drop me off in